the last technical session pertaining to GSTR 9 and 9C. We started on 3rd December with outward supply and explained all relevant provision which is applicable. Today we are doing input tax credit. But one point for sure, that ITC cannot be understood unless we understand outward taxable supply. And we are so correlated that your ITC is not only your ITC, it is dependent upon supplier charging the taxes to you. Initially, as we thought of, it was very good proposition, and GST law is being drafted keeping that proposition in mind. So maybe some of the word would be repetition, but for convenience sake, you will understand that this is really, had it continued, then 90% problem could have been solved. We started with 3 returns, GSTR 1, 2, and 3. And what was the thought process on GSTR 1, 2, and 3? It was so dynamic and automatic that I charge tax, you will be given credit. So what was GSTR 1? My outward supply, to be filed by 10th of next month. Am I right? Now it gets auto-populated in 2A, no denial to it. So you being recipient, you can always look into any transaction, add, modify, delete. Add is what? If I forgot to upload any outward supply particulars, you can always add. That is called provisional credit. Am I right? And you can modify also. Modify is what? I'm charging 20 rupees as against 18 rupees charge, or maybe vice versa case. I'm charging 18 but reporting 16. You can always modify. You can always delete also, which is not pertaining to you. And you can finalize your GSTR 2 by 15th of next month. So what happened, once you do all this kind of correction, add, modification, gets auto-populated for supplier in 1A. Am I right? I could see that what are the changes made by my recipient. So once those changes is visible to me, I can either accept or reject. So meaning thereby, once I accept, then what happened? Provisional credit become crystallizing. Liability crystallize in the hands of Bimal, Jain, credit crystallize in the hands of recipient. So 1A need to be finalized by 17th of next month. And then GSTR 3. This was so automatic process. But we know from July 2017, it is not continuing. So 2 and 3 gone. We are only left out with 2 returns, GSTR 3B and GSTR 1. GSTR 3B is nothing but a consolidated monthly return having 6 tables. Table 1 and 2 is nothing. Table 3 talks about your outward supply, which may be B2B or B2C, export, your nil-rated, exempted, your reverse charge, and your non-GST outward supply. Table 4 is ITC. Table 4A, ITC. ITC is available on import of goods, import of services, available on reverse charge liability, ISD credit, and other credit pertaining to your forward charge, meaning thereby you're purchasing from a supplier and supplier charging GST. So that credit come in 4A. So I'm only saying we have to really prepare well, because this 9 and 9C is not the certification work. I will get you prepared. I will try my best. So table 4 containing your ITC availed, then your reversal, and then ineligible they are referring to. And table 5 is the inward supply, GSTR 3B, nil-rated, exempted, non-GST inward supply, and table 6 the payment either through credit or through cash ledger. 3B gone. And GSTR 1 is the outward taxable supply, either B2B or B2C. So at most, we are comfortable to have reconciliation of outward taxable supply. GSTR 1 versus table 3 of GSTR 3B. But what we are not comfortable with table 4, 3B, credit to be availed. So I would like to request you, you can open part 4, table 12, which is pertaining to ITC, input tax credit. Table 12 says, and that table 12A, kindly read with me, ITC availed, the word used, availed, as per audited annual financial statement. तो सबसे पहले तो मैं आपको बताऊं, वो जब हम GSTR 9 कर रहे थे, they are saying that you need to pick up credit from your 2A, right? अब यहाँ पे बोलता है as per audited annual financial statement. So what GSTR 9 has done, GSTR 9 has arrived at ITC from GST perspective. Hope clear to all? And what is the role of 9C? Bimal, you got your ITC from GST perspective. Now please get it reconciled with your financial statement. That too, audited annual financial statement. So you have to do all permutation combination, am I right? Let me read, then I will take you. ITC availed as per audited annual financial statement for the state or union territory for multi-GST number and the same PAN number. This should be derived from books of accounts. My first and foremost challenge. I'm having 4 registration in 4 different states. 4 registration in 4 different states. I'm raising this concern again and again, sir. Tell me, who need to get audit done? 44 subsection 2 read with 35 subsection 5 rule 80 sub rule 3. It says every registered person whose aggregate turnover crosses 2 crore. Then I'm asking, let's say I'm having 2 crore 5 lakh rupees in one state, but other 3 states I'm having small meager amount of 5,000 rupees. Do I require to get GST audit done in other 3 states? This is the question last time I posted. But we are not getting any clarity. But if we look at the law, aggregate turnover to be calculated on PAN all India basis. From this provision perspective, looks like audit to be done for all 4 states. But irony is, 35 subsection 5 is only referring to turnover. And turnover is not defined in GST law. This turnover is being prescribed by Rule 80 sub Rule 3, saying aggregate turnover, confusion, big confusion. If you look at the law provision, it is for all 4 units. But this is the irony, whether this was the intention of the law to get audit done for such assessee whose aggregate turnover is less than 2 crore, turnover is less than 2 crore, not the aggregate turnover. This aggregate turnover replacing turnover, creating confusion. But otherwise, if you're having 4 registration, then we 4 are distinct person, am I right? Then there may be supply, stock transfer for goods, stock transfer for services. Meaning thereby, from that law perspective, looks like we have to get audit done for all 4 states, but there is no clarity as on date. Now, nevertheless, if that be the case, I posted this query last time, posting this query now. I normally get audit done at the actual level, head office level. I may have prepared the trial balance. I'm using the term may have prepared the trial balance branch-wise. But that trial balance which is prepared at the branch level, we never get audited. These trial balances are incorporated in my HO trial balance. A consolidated number and statutory auditor comes and get the audit done. So tell me, do you have any ITC availed in a trial balance, and that too from a audited annual financial statement for respective स्टेट और यूनियन टेरिटरी? सर हाँ या ना? तो कुछ लोग ना क्यों कर रहे हैं? फिर तो ये बात सबको समझ में आनी चाहिए कि हमारे पास नहीं है. Respective state wise, you may have as a PAN basis consolidated, but you may not have state wise audited annual financial statement. But you have to pick up that number from that audited annual financial statement. First big challenge. क्या करूं? Before auditor, पहले मैं आप ही से पूछ लूं, आपने मुझे अपॉइंट किया है, आप मुझे नंबर दीजिए. तो आप बोलेंगे बिमल जी ये ट्रायल बैलेंस है, ट्रायल बैलेंस ले लो, इसमें जो फिगर है वो इसी का फिगर है. आप यही बोलने वाले हैं मेरे से. जब आप ये बोलने वाले हैं तो मेरा पहला काम क्या होगा मालूम है? पहले मैं बोलूंगा पहले ट्रायल बैलेंस पे आप साइन कीजिए. सच में सच बता रहा हूं आपको, क्योंकि सारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी 9C की बिमल जैन के ऊपर. मैं बोलूंगा इस ट्रायल बैलेंस पे आप साइन कीजिए एंड गेट इट इंडोर्स बाय योर स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर, so that tomorrow if I'm picking up any figure from this respective trial balance which is being offered to me, that has got some authentication. Pehla point, this not only for auditor, for you also to endorse that I'm picking up the correct number of ITC avail. Before you avail ITC, my first question, is it available to you? ITC has got so many meaning. It is available, it is availed, after availed it is eligible or ineligible, am I right? ये बोलता है availed. पहले मुझे बता दीजिए available है क्या? Tell me one case, it is available but not availed. मुझे लेना कौन सा फिगर है? Availed, am I right? Please tell me one example. Let's say you are purchasing some goods. You got invoice on 29th March 2018. You are receiving goods on 2nd April 2018. This is a case of credit available but can't be availed. Am I right? तो आप कैसे दिखाएंगे? आपने तो परचेज बुक कर ली होगी, और परचेज जब बुक की होगी तो आपने ये जो टैक्स मैंने जो चार्ज किया होगा वो आप ई क्रेडिट लेजर में ले गए होंगे. अदरवाइज आपने अगर टेम्प क्रेडिट अकाउंट खोला है, टेम्प, यू अंडरस्टैंड, टेम्पररी, which is not final credit. So my purchase will have two kind of transaction. If you purchase at 100 rupees and 18% is the IGST, this may be recorded in two manner. How it can be? Purchase account debit 100 rupees, IGST credit debit 18 rupees to AP or to bank. Am I right? हाँ या ना? Second, na. Anyone saying na? No. Other way around, when I know that this credit is not available, where from I come to know? Fundamental 4 condition. Fundamental 4 condition. You must have tax invoice. You must have received goods and services. Supplier must have paid taxes and recipient must have filed. So 31st March, you need to sit down first. You have to go and check your GRN, goods receipt note, at a factory gate. And check, even though purchase is there, but GRN is happening only on or after 1st April. So meaning thereby, you need to bifurcate by yourself in your trial balance. Later on, my task starts. You know capital goods in transit credit, transitional credit, are you aware of? उन्हें big known PSU, नाम नहीं ले सकता, client है. He came up to me and asked, sir, I imported capital goods. I got these goods cleared on 2nd June 2017. 2nd June 2000. But these capital goods entering into my factory on 3rd July 2017. So capital goods in transit. Am I right? Can you avail credit for capital goods in transit? Law says no. अब आपकी तरह प्लान कर लेना चाहिए था उनको. नहीं हुआ, हो गई, और उस पे करोड़ों की क्रेडिट है. क्या करें? लैप्स. बट वी आर डूइंग ऑडिट टास्क नाउ. हो गया तो कैसे करेंगे? हो गया तो कैसे करेंगे? आपको जीआरएन से चेक करना है. होप यू गॉट नाउ यू गॉट माई मैसेज. So it is available, but cannot be availed. Who would be doing? मुझे कई क्लाइंट लोग ऐसा बोलते हैं, सर 2A से 3B मैच ही तो करना है, करना क्या है? ऐसा नहीं है सर. First point, availed is possible only when 4 conditions are satisfied. Coming to the next point, correlating, because इस point में बहुत कुछ समाया हुआ है. And this need to be checked with GSTR 9, which Jatin has said. Now tell me, if 100 rupees credit coming in my 2A, and you have availed credit initially in GSTR 3B, तब 2A auto populate. आपने बस purchase के ऊपर जो invoices थी वो credit लिए, am I right? अब match करने में लग गए हम, 2A में आ रहा है या नहीं आ रहा. Last 4-5 months we started doing this activity. Please tell me, being taxpayer, if I have received the goods, if I've got tax invoices, and I'm fairly satisfied my supplier must have paid the taxes, credit would be available to me, irrespective of fact it is coming in my 2A or not. Am I right? But GSTR 9 saying, no, boss, no, you can't do anything. Pick up the number from 2A. So, again, I would like to highlight one and foremost thing to you. I'm a supplier. I've supplied goods to you, 100 rupees and 18% IGST. You got my invoice, you have received the goods, and I have also paid the taxes to the government department. So I will pay the taxes only when 3B is being filed. Am I right? But I have not filed my GSTR 1. Is this case possible? One guy came to me during tea break in the morning. He asked me straightforward, sir, GSTR 1 नहीं भरा मैंने. मतलब क्यों नहीं भरा भैया आपने? तो वो बताना नहीं चाह रहा था मेरे को. Reason could be, he got excess liability as per GSTR 1, but shown lesser amount in 3B, he would be active. He would be active. But 2A में तो credit आ ही नहीं रहा. क्योंकि उसने GSTR 1 भरा ही नहीं है, तो दोनों की बात सॉल्व कर लेते हैं. अब सप्लायर मान लीजिए मैं ही हूं जिसने GSTR 1 नहीं भरा. तो पहला क्वेश्चन उसका ये था, सर GSTR 1 मुझे भरना है, मैं 3B भर दिया है. आंसर इट, मुझे भरना है ना, भरना ही पड़ेगा. एम आई राइट? तभी आपके 2A में आएगा. अगर मैं आपसे बोलूं बिना 2A के क्रेडिट ले लीजिए, आई डोंट सी एनी रीजन फॉर दैट. लेकिन only point which is coming out, if this supplier who has to file GSTR 1, he got liability of 10,000, but 3B he has paid 5,000, can it be stated supplier has paid full taxes? No, sir. No, then again Pandora's box open. Pandora's box open. So what is coming out to be, if you have purchased from a vendor and it is not coming in 2A, kindly make sure that go back and check all those vendors. Boss, आपका 2A में पहले तो ये इंश्योर करना ही पड़ेगा. So maybe I got a good clientele. So one client was having this problem. So he came up to me just 2 months before, 3 months before we started for GSTR 9 and 9C. And his worried was, sir, I have paid the taxes to my so many vendors, but there are certain vendors, I know they have not paid. I know they have not paid. How to create some kind of safeguard for me? I created one later. I said, to whomsoever it may concern, I will take this confirmation from all the vendors. To whomsoever it may concern, this is certified that I have supplied so-and-so by the invoice number so-and-so. For that, I got the payment by dated so-and-so. And I acknowledge and confirming you have paid the taxes by dated so-and-so. You can avail the credit. In case of any problem for availing credit, I held responsible, indemnify you, not only the tax amount, interest and penalty and other consequences. This letter we have taken from all such vendors. So let's say 10 vendors are the screwed one. We sent letter. So 5 vendors after getting this letter has got no meaning. Some vendor will say, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, दे दे यार, भेज दे, क्या फर्क पड़ता है. But 5 vendor को लगा, अरे यार कल मेरे ऊपर ओनस आ जाएगा. So 5 deposited, 5 still not. Again, they are back to me as a client. Sir, वो 5 अभी भी नहीं भर रहे. Next letter. My dear friends, आपने अभी तक टैक्स जमा नहीं कराया है. काइंडली ये टैक्स जमा करा दे, वरना मैं आपके अकाउंट से डेबिट कर दूंगा. Are you listening? क्योंकि मेरी तो रिवर्सल हो जाएगी. And that too along with, I will debit your account. 2 बंदों को और समझ में आ गई. So 2 ने और जमा करा दिया. 3 अभी भी है, नहीं मानने को तैयार, दूंगा ही नहीं कुछ. थर्ड लेटर. अब मैंने लेटर लिखा, भैया अगर आप आपने जमा नहीं कराया ना, तो आपका GST नंबर मुझे मालूम है. I'm going to intimate to the authority and letting them know that you are the screwed guy who has taken and collected the tax but not depositing to the government exchequer. And for you, my credit should not be denied. Intimating to the authority. Are you listening me? Maybe this approach will prove those who are struggling with. Somebody asked here, supplier को दे दिया है, supplier ने जमा, तो मैं डिपार्टमेंट को बोलूंगा, सर मेरे ऊपर क्यों डालते हो ये प्रॉब्लम? अगर सप्लायर स्क्रूड है और मैंने आप उसका GST नंबर आपको बता दिया, आप जाके उससे कलेक्ट कीजिए ना. Why you are denying credit for me which I paid to him? लॉ में कहीं लिखा है? नहीं लिखा. But if I am doing this activity, am I going to be benefited? Am I going to be benefited? Answer is, I'm telling you big yes. Law cannot be read in isolation. I've taken all my precaution to ensure taxes paid and vendor is not taking right steps. But हमने ऐसे कितने लोगों ने किया? Maybe few of us. अभी तो हम स्ट्रगल ही कर रहे हैं, सर वो मेरी बात नहीं सुनता, मेरी बात नहीं मानता. लेना बंद कर दीजिए. But credit is subjective on payment of taxes. So first point, very foremost point which I want to draw, that 2A is going to reflect. But 2A is the only document? No. Even though it is not coming in 2A, credit is available. Hope clear to all? First part of case study. Financial statement is audited by called statutory auditor. You will endorse today. Whether statutory auditor has really taken a pain to ensure that correctly ITC availed or not? Correctly discharge of liability is being done or not? So he may have continued with a mistake in financial statement which got audited also. Statutory audit. He has filed ITR also. He has filed ITR also. I can take one example and I can demonstrate that there will always be difference of financial statement audited by chartered accountant from Companies Act perspective and whatever he's doing in 9C. Let's say I got outward supply I was referring to, and again I'm putting for this point to all of you. I got some outward supply. I have not disclosed in my financial statement. And I have not disclosed in GSTR 3B and GSTR 1. Now we are coming to know that this transaction has missed from financial statement and from 3B and GSTR 1. Recipient must have taken credit because he got the invoice, he has received the goods. Am I right? So you will take credit, I will not show the liability, 9C mismatch. Way forward ऐसा ही होना है. Way forward यही मैच होना है आपका और हमारा. यही मैं बताने वाला हूं आपको कुछ देर में कि आपको अगर ये लगता है कि नहीं अब फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट में तो चढ़ा ही नहीं था, अब मैं करेक्ट करूं इस साल में, 2 ही तरीके, या तो ITR रिवाइज कर, फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट रिवाइज कर, या फिर रहने दे अपने GSTR 9C में करेक्ट कर. लायबिलिटी तो है. So I'm only giving additional point that you may have both the option, but it need to be done. Am I clear to all? Coming to 12B, please. 12B says ITC booked in earlier financial year, claimed in current financial year. Please, what is the meaning of earlier financial year? 16-17. 16-17. Or maybe April to June 2017. Am I clear? But claimed in current financial year 17-18. Tell me one item. Tran 1 credit. Tran 1 credit. Right? Transaction को यहाँ लेके आना है. Must match with your Tran 1 credit which is shown in GSTR 9. So everything has got some logic and reconciliation done according. Come to 12C. ITC booked in current financial year to be claimed in subsequent financial year. Which transaction? I said just while ago. 2nd April. Goods received. Purchase मेरे पास आ गई, पर मैं क्रेडिट नहीं ले सकता. Available थी. Am I clear? Coming to the last, ITC availed as per audited financial statement और books of accounts. ऑटो आप कैलकुलेट कर लीजिए. आपने जब ऑटो कैलकुलेट कर लिया, वो 9 से कंपैरिजन मांगता है, एंड कंपैरिजन मांगने के बाद बोलता है अनरिकंसाइल्ड. अब बताइए अनरिकंसाइल्ड क्यों है? व्हाट आर द अकाउंट्स फॉर द अनरिकंसिलिएशन? सो ये 13 को थोड़ा छोड़ देते हैं अभी, एक फॉर द टाइम बिंग. 14 को देखने की कोशिश करते हैं. लेट मी सी द 14. टेबल 12 ऑफ GSTR 9. रिवर्सल ऑफ ITC अवेल्ड ड्यूरिंग द प्रीवियस फाइनेंशियल ईयर. 17-18 में था, उसका रिवर्सल किया आपने. फॉर सम रीजन इट इज नॉट अवेलेबल. यू कैन डू ऑलवेज हियर, एंड दैट टू विद इन द पीरियड ऑफ अप्रैल टू September, irrespective of fact which I am debating, last date, due date. And 13 says ITC availed. 17-18 में लेना भूल गए, पर अप्रैल टू सितंबर में ले सकते हैं. आंसर इज यहां आएगा. But this is what you have to really inculcate, that where from I can do adjustment of April to September. It may be pertaining to outward supply or may be pertaining to ITC. So outward supply would be coming in 10 and 11. Table 10 and table 11. Can you see that? And ITC would be coming in table 12 and 13. Now here I will get my GST turnover and ITC. That would be considered as a reconciliation in 9C. Am I clear? Table 14 is very interesting. और वो PL account जतिन दिखा रहा था सारे के सारे. I will start with this fellow only. But 3 बार but इसी से पूछते हैं सबसे पहले. Table 14C, table 14A, B, C, D, E. They're saying that I need to bifurcate my credit in terms of these specified expenses. Am I right? First you read what is written in table 14. Reconciliation of ITC declared in annual return. Declared in annual return. But annual return में वो आपसे bifurcate नहीं करवा रहा था. Only input service and capital goods. With ITC availed on expenses as per audited annual financial statement और books of accounts. सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन आप सभी से, ये डिटेल क्यों करवा रहा है? मुझे क्या, मैंने ले ली क्रेडिट, मेरी GSTR 9 की क्रेडिट मुझे बुक से मैच करनी है. Why they want me to bifurcate? Now answering one after another. Answering him first. रेशियो एनालिसिस ऑफ इंडस्ट्री, वो चेक करने के लिए. अच्छा, डिपार्टमेंट इतना कॉम्पिटेंट हो गया है कि इंडस्ट्री स्पेसिफिक रेशियो एनालिसिस क्या है. इट मे वेरी फ्रॉम वन पर्सन टू विद इन सेम इंडस्ट्री. यू कैन नॉट हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ पैरामीटर. फर्स्ट गोइंग टू हर टू फाइंड आउट एलिजिबल क्रेडिट. एम आई राइट? एम आई राइट? रीड नाउ कॉलम 2, 3 and 4. Column 2, 3 and 4. Column 2 says we have to mention the value. Column 3 says amount of total ITC, and column 4 says amount of eligible. So boss, you are going to put up your eligible number only. Value में क्या डालें? Purchase value. सर बहुत बड़ा इशू है. अब मैं आपको एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ. मान लीजिए मैं कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री में हूँ, मैं आपका कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हूँ एंड बिल्डर हूँ, यू आर रेसिपिएंट. आई विल चार्ज GST ऑन 2/3 पोर्शन. एम आई राइट? 1/3 डिडक्शन फॉर द लैंड. सो मेरी इनवॉइस मान लीजिए होगी 90,000 की, बट मैं GST चार्ज करूंगा 60,000 के ऊपर. एम आई राइट? इस वैल्यू में क्या डालूं, 90,000 या 60,000? डोंट से नाउ 60,000. अगर आपने सोचना स्टार्ट किया, यानी आपका माइंड अब चलना चालू हो गया, यू मस्ट मेंशन 60,000, तभी वो मैच करेगा. अदरवाइज ये एक्सपोजिंग योर वेंडर कि उसने कम चार्ज किया है. सर मैं स्लो चलिए. अब कहीं लिखा है भाई, इंस्ट्रक्शन वाले बंदे से पूछ लेता हूं. इंस्ट्रक्शन वाले बंदे, एक मिनट रुको ना सर, थोड़ा तो मैं भी तो लुफ्त लूं। इंस्ट्रक्शन वाले बंदे कहीं लिखा है वैल्यू में ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू आएगा या वैल्यू आएगा? नहीं लिखा, नहीं लिखा ना। टू माई माइंड दे मस्ट क्लैरिफाई दे वांट ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू और वैल्यू इज डिफरेंट। वैल्यू वुड बी 90,000 but transaction value would be 60,000 and this is charge on 60,000 rupees. Clarity must come. It is not there in the form and nothing in on instruction. Nothing is there on तो मेरे लिए अब ये प्रॉब्लम हो गया। करूँ तो मैंने सोचा क्या करना चाहिए, मुझे तो आपको प्रेजेंटेशन देनी है, आप तो मुझे पकड़ लेंगे सर जी उसमें कुछ नहीं लिखा, आप तो बताओ किस पे करना है। मेरे हिसाब से ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू होनी चाहिए, लेकिन जैसे ही मैंने ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू कर दिया मेरा पीएल अकाउंट डेबिट मैच नहीं करेगा। आई नो एवरीथिंग, आई नो एवरीथिंग। अगर इनका टेक ही है कि पीएल अकाउंट डेबिट से मैच करना है तो मैच, दे मस्ट इंसर्ट अनदर कॉलम व्हिच इज कॉल्ड ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू। सर वैल्यू रखना चाहते हैं तो पीएल अकाउंट डेबिट साइड ले लूंगा, लेकिन जीएसटी जिस पे चार्ज किया उसका ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू आप उसमें डाल दो साइड में, सो इट विल मैच, राइट। आपकी जीएसटी मैच कर जाएगी और आपकी पीएल अकाउंट डेबिट साइड मैच कर जाएगी। अमाउंट ऑफ टोटल आईटीसी, मैम अमाउंट ऑफ टोटल, एंड नाउ दे आर सेइंग अमाउंट ऑफ एलिजिबल, मीनिंग दे आर क्रिएटिंग बाइफिकेशन। 18 रुपए की क्रेडिट आपके पास आईटीसी में आ रही है डज नॉट मीन दैट इट इज एलिजिबल क्रेडिट फॉर नंबर ऑफ रीजन, मे बी 17.5, may be related to exempted. And now let me give you the thumb rule जो जतिन कह रहे थे, और थोड़ा सा मैं आपको broad clarity देना चाहता हूँ, and with the same example of that employer versus employee. In GST, the fundamental for availing credit would be, and you must bear in your mind these fundamental. You can bifurcate your ITC if it is related to taxable supply. If you can identify 101. Take 100% credit. Are you listening? If you can identify that total ITC, out of total ITC pertaining to taxable supply, take 100% credit. If it is pertaining to exempt supplies, no credit. And what is exempt supply in GST? Nil rated, exempted by way of exemption notification. And what are the exemption notification? 2/2017 for, बोलिए सर, पिछली बार पढ़ा है 2/2017 for and 12/2017 for services, and which is not taxable. These are 3 exempt supplies. एक केस स्टडी करूं आप लोगों के साथ, and maybe you will understand the meaning of exempt supplies then. Let's say I'm doing high C sale. I have imported goods at $100. I sold it to Gupta ji at $150 when goods are on high seas. So import value $100 but selling at $150. Tell me GST applicable? GST applicable? Not applicable. So what did this supply means? What did this supply? Nil rated, exempted, non-GST, non-taxable, no supply. What is this? चल cross करेंगे. Second transaction. I have imported the goods, put in warehouse, custom bonded warehouse. Now when this is put in custom bonded warehouse, I'm selling to Gupta ji at $150. Gupta ji going to file bill of entry for the home consumption. So what happened to my sale? GST applicable? I don't know. Yes or no? I don't know. Okay. Third, I got some order from my customer in US, and I supplied the goods from my suppliers from China to US directly. China to? Getting income also. Getting credited to my PL account also. Getting credited to my PL account also. GST applicable? पक्का? अच्छा चलिए चलिए, बहुत अच्छी बात। तो आपने कहा ना कुछ वॉइसेस नो, कुछ वॉइसेस को लगा कि यार ये सब भी ट्रांजेक्शन तो है, ध्यान ही नहीं दिया अभी तक तो ध्यान हो सकता है कुछ हो। मान लीजिए जैसे जीएसटी नहीं लगेगा आपके आउटवर्ड के ऊपर, एनी रिपरकेशन ऑन रिवर्सल ऑफ आईटीसी बीइंग एग्जेम्प्ट सप्लाईज, एनी रिपरकेशन? For your kind of information, this is not exempt supplies and no reversal required. No reversal required. When you go to ITC provision, it is categorically said these are excluded. So Schedule 3 items are excluded from the valuation of exempt supplies. No reversal required. Let me take another example so that you understand better. Let's say I'm a builder. I'm into construction of flat. I started my construction, let's say in 2019, and I started availing credit. When I sell under constructed property, GST applicable? Louder, thoda sa mere saath chalna pade. Applicable, right? I am availing credit also, but let's say in 2022, I got completion certificate or occupancy certificate. Now there's a new term, occupancy certificate. It was not there in service tax regime. So since I got occupancy certificate on 1st July 2022, and I'm left out with inventory, let's say 100 property constructed, only 80 properties sold before completion or OC, 20 left out and sold after completion or OC. So what happened? Credit I availed on pretext that everything is taxable in GST. But on 1st July 2022, I come to know, no 20 flats are after completion. GST applicable? Any reversal required? Yes, required. Even this item of Schedule 3, even it is item of Schedule 3, reversal required. Reversal happened from which date? 2019 से क्रेडिट लेना स्टार्ट किया, तब तो नहीं मालूम था कि 20 रह जाएंगे. मालूम पड़ा 1 जुलाई 2022. कब से रिवर्सल मारूं? 1 जुलाई 2022 या 19. तो डिपार्टमेंट ये नहीं बोलेगा कि अगर 22 में मारेंगे तो आपने 2-3 साल तो एक्सेस क्रेडिट अवेल कर ली. इंटरेस्ट to my knowledge, we need to reverse on 1st July 2022 and no interest required to be paid. But these are all value addition. Now coming to that employee and employer, which Jatin has picked up, and you were debating and we were debating at length. Let me do one part. And very interesting, here थोड़ा समझना पड़ेगा मेरे साथ आप लोगों को, चल के थोड़ा सा ऐसा समझना पड़ेगा बाकी. Let's say I'm a company. सर आपको आउटडोर कैटरर बना दूं फॉर द टाइम बिंग. गुप्ता जी मेरे आउटडोर कैटरर हैं फॉर प्रिपरेशन ऑफ लंच एंड डिनर. एंड यू कैन आई मेक यू एम्प्लॉय? पक्का? यू ऑल आर एम्प्लॉय ऑफ माई कंपनी. So employee of the company. Now there are two way to do it. He charging 100 rupees per thali and charging GST. 100 rupees per thali and charging GST. He will charge GST. Any doubt to anyone? No, he will charge GST. So let's say he's charging GST. Now doubt can persist only on the rate, whether 5% or 18%. Am I right? For that clarity, just as on date, he will charge 5% with no ITC. Am I clear? यहाँ तक क्लियर? अब इन्हें चार्ज कर लिया मुझे. अब मैं आपको 10 रुपए में थाली दे रहा हूं बिकॉज यू आर माई एम्प्लॉय कंसर्न. सब्सिडाइज 10 रुपए तो इसलिए लेता हूं कि फालतू का खाना ना फेंके आप लोग, तो आपसे 10 रुपए इसीलिए लेता हूं मैं. नाउ क्वेश्चन कम्स वेदर GST एप्लीकेबल ऑन 10 रुपीज. GST एप्लीकेबल ऑन 10 रुपीज? यस और नो? See, one transaction very categorically said in Schedule 3, any service by employee to the employer, but they're not taking out employer to the employee. Am I right? I charge on 10 rupees. Had I made it zero कर दिया होता मैंने, मान लीजिए नहीं चार्ज करता 10 रुपए, तो GST लगता? फिर मैं आपको बताता हूँ, लॉ में इतने ओपन लैकूनाज है ना, आप लॉ को इंटरप्रेट नहीं कर पाएंगे. मैं आपको अभी टैक्स लगा के दिखाता हूँ और अभी दिखाता हूँ कि टैक्स नहीं लगेगा इसी ट्रांजेक्शन को. देखिए कैसे. इफ आई एम नॉट चार्जिंग एनी पेनी, Assume I'm not charging any penny. I will say it is in lieu of employment contract. In lieu of employment contract. Excluded wide entry 1, schedule 3. You can't levy. बिमल जी ऐसे कैसे होगा? सर प्रेस रिलीज इशू हुई थी 10 जुलाई 2017 को. प्रेस रिलीज सेइंग अगर पार्ट ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है तो जीएसटी. प्रेस रिलीज मेरे एडवांटेज में है. प्रेस रिलीज की कोई ऑथेंटिसिटी नहीं है. बट इफ इट इज फेवरिंग यू, यू टेक द एडवांटेज. यहां दिखा था कि नहीं लगा, राइट? अब लगा के दिखाता हूं जीएसटी कैसे लगेगा. मैं बोलूंगा सर मुझे नहीं, आप एफओसी करते तो मैं मान लेता आपने 10 रुपए चार्ज किए. यू हैव चार्ज 10 रुपीज. इट इज अ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस बिटवीन रिलेटेड पर्सन or distinct person. Employer and employee are related person in the course of furtherance of business. तो यहां आर्गुमेंट होता है अगर मैं 10 रुपए चार्ज भी नहीं करता तो भी ये ट्रांजेक्शन टैक्सेबल है, तो भी ट्रांजेक्शन. अब तो मैंने 10 रुपए चार्ज किए हैं भैया, टैक्स तो बनता ही है, पर 10 पे बनता है नहीं. रूल 28 CGST रूल 2017 clearly says either open market value, like kind and quality, 110% of cost of provision of services or residue method. Am I right? यानी मिनिमम मुझे जीएसटी कितने पे चार्ज करना चाहिए था? 100 रुपए पे तो चार्ज बिंग ओपन मार्केट करना ही चाहिए था, इवन दो आप चार्ज ओनली 10 रुपीज. चलिए एक बार के लिए मान लेते आर्गुमेंट से करना चाहिए. तो जो 5% इनने मुझे चार्ज किया, गुप्ता जी ने जो मुझे चार्ज किया, दोनों को सॉल्व करते हैं. अगर मैं एफओसी देता तो मुझे क्रेडिट मिलती? मिलेगी, 100% मिलेगी. Recent CGST Amendment Act 2018. Recent CGST Amendment Act 2018 categorically said that if this is statutory obligation on employer to provide to the employee concerned, credit would be available. पर ये only CGST Amendment Act है. Yet to be notified, yet to be. But whenever any kind of tax-friendly measures comes, it is always going to be retrospective, always going to be. So for my mind, credit would be available. FOC में मैंने कुछ चार्ज नहीं किया और मुझे क्रेडिट मिल गई. You may go back to your business transaction change. Second case, नहीं सर अब जीएसटी चार्ज करना है, मुझे जीएसटी चार्ज करना है. You must be knowing that Kerala advance ruling judgment. उन्होंने क्या कह दिया? बिमल जैन जब एडवांस रूलिंग के लिए गया तो बिमल जैन ने ये पूछा सर जो मैं एम्प्लॉई को 10 रुपए चार्ज करता हूं, इज सप्लाई? एडवांस रूलिंग ने कहा हाँ हाँ ये सप्लाई है. सर इसमें बिजनेस क्या है? तो बिजनेस की डेफिनेशन सेज एनी एक्टिविटी विच इज इंसिडेंटल एंसिलरी टू योर मेन बिजनेस इज ए बिजनेस. यानी ये बिजनेस है मेरा, जो मैं आपको खाना खिला रहा हूं, ये मेरा बिजनेस है. अगर बिजनेस है तो मैं क्रेडिट ले लूं 5 रुपए वाली, 5% की, और मैं कितने चार्ज करूंगा? 5 या 18? कंटिन्यू टू बी 5, कंटिन्यू टू बी 5. और 5 पे बोलता है नो आईटीसी. इज इट नॉट डबल टैक्सेशन? और वहां बोलता है स्टैट्यूटरी ऑब्लिगेशन है तो क्रेडिट ले ले. तो मैं तो क्रेडिट लूंगा, मैं तो क्रेडिट लूंगा. एटमोस्ट डिस्चार्ज करने के लिए 5% पे करूंगा. तो मे बी business model can be changed in your scenario. What model change you would be doing? Not charging anything and in lieu of employment contract. But these are all subjective, need to be looked at from factual position. So I've said जतिन ने जो इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट टच किया था वो उसको टच करना है मुझे. जतिन ने कहा ये एग्जेम सप्लाईज, वो हाउस याद आ रहा है? फॉर रेसिडेंशियल ड्वेलिंग पर्पज. सर हाउस याद आ रहा है? रेसिडेंशियल ड्वेलिंग एग्जेम्प्ट कर दिया था उन्होंने, और फिर कहा था कि नहीं नहीं 5% प्लस रिवर्सल 42 and 43. Am I right? I am having some difference of view in this regard. I am saying that if I can identify my credit pertaining to exempt supplies and I am not availing credit, then there is no common ITC. Are you getting it? Only when common ITC comes, then only reversal would be falling under 42 and 40. अब 5% किसके लिए बोलता है? नॉन बिजनेस पर्पजेज. नॉन बिजनेस। तो जो मैंने आपको दिया वो नॉन बिजनेस है क्या? रिलेटेड टू माई बिजनेस। व्हाट इज नॉन बिजनेस? आपने मुझे गाड़ी दी, आई एम एम्प्लॉय कंसर्न, बोला बिमल यूज कर ऑफिस के लिए, पर पर्सनल वाइफ को लेके मत जाइए तू, वाइफ को लेके। दैट इज नॉन। आईटी में है ना कॉन्सेप्ट, एक फिगर आप निकाल लेते हैं, राइट? 1800 और 2400 सम फिगर है, दैट इज कॉल्ड लाइक यू नो एड बैक करता है। आप उसे नॉन बिजनेस कह सकते हैं, लेकिन नॉन बिजनेस ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं कॉन्सेप्ट। मैं जो भी करता हूं, आपको मैंने 10 रुपए का जो खाना खिलाया या जो एफओसी खिलाया, विच इज रिलेटेड टू माई बिजनेस। आई एम नॉट डूइंग लंगर, मैं लंगर नहीं लगा रहा, इट इज रिलेटेड टू माई बिजनेस। सो आई एम हैविंग सब्जेक्टिविटी। सब्जेक्टिविटी ऑफ व्हाट? प्लीज डिटरमाइन व्हाट इज बिजनेस पर्पज, व्हाट इज नॉन बिजनेस पर्पज। यही होगा कि मान लीजिए मैं टाइल्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में हूं, टाइल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की, और टाइल कुछ लेके मैंने अपने घर में लगवा ली, दैट इज कॉल्ड नॉन बिजनेस पर्पज। देयर आईटीसी रिवर्स्ड, तो फिर कॉमन में कहां जाएगा? जब आईटीसी मैंने रिवर्स कर दिया, व्हाई देन कॉमन आईटीसी एक्सपोज टू 5% एंड 42 एंड 43? आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? सो आई हैव सेड माई डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन। जब मैंने जीएसटी लगा दिया, एग्जेम्प्ट को टैक्सेबल मान लिया, रिवर्स मार दिया, फिर कॉमन आईटीसी क्या? फिर तो आप बिजनेस में कहीं भी एक्सपेंड कर जाओ। टेबल 14 नाउ सेज परचेज। परचेज में क्या आएगा? रॉ मटेरियल और परचेज ऑफ सर्विसेज। अच्छा, बोथ आएगा। तो ये नीचे फ्रेट, पावर, रेंट, इंश्योरेंस, ये सब क्यों डाला हुआ है? Now this is again big confusion. My instruction, this guy, what instruction says? क्या आएगा इसमें? ओ नहीं, बहुत जरूरी है सर। Purchase, if I'm a service provider, my purchase will always be maximum case. There may be goods purchase, but for service sector, goods are never, inputs are never meant. But if you're a manufacturing sector, then inputs, raw material, capital goods are being purchased for the provision of manufacturing. Am I right? So this purchase is kept open. अब मैं एक एग्जाम्पल लूँ, आपको अच्छी तरह समझ में आए। Purchase of freight. Purchase of freight are so common. कई बार freight charge on inward supply debited to purchase account. Am I? Maybe a case with him. बोले सर मैं freight नहीं डालता, मैं purchase में कर देता हूँ, कोई दिक्कत है क्या? तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है मुझे। प्रॉब्लम कहां आनी है? प्रॉब्लम कहां आनी है? फ्रेट इज सब्जेक्ट टू रिवर्स चार्ज। फ्रेट इज सब्जेक्ट टू रिवर्स चार्ज। एम आई राइट? नाउ फ्रेट हैज गॉट टू वे टू लुक एट। आई एम ए सप्लायर एंड सप्लायर ऑफ गुड्स टैक्सेबल एट 12% एंड 18%। गुप्ता जी को मैंने जीटीए ट्रांसपोर्टर इंगेज किया, ये फ्रेट चार्ज करेंगे मुझे। अब मेरे पास दो मोड हैं कि मान लीजिए मैं जब सप्लाई करता हूं तो FOR सेल डेस्टिनेशन, सो आई चार्ज फ्रेट ऑल्सो। एम आई राइट? फ्रेट ऑल्सो। व्हेन आई चार्ज फ्रेट, देन टेल मी व्हाट इज द रेट एप्लीकेबल ऑन फ्रेट पोर्शन? 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. इट इज एज पर सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स, कॉम्पोजिट सप्लाई। एम आई राइट? मैं 18% का सप्लाई करता हूं तो जीएसटी रेट क्या होगा? लेकिन जो फ्रेट पे कर रहा हूंगा इनको, उस पे क्या रेट लगेगा? 5%. Am I right? Unless he charging 12%. Unless he charging 12%. Am I right? अब एक सिचुएशन मैंने ये बनाई फ्रेट। अब फ्रेट तो मेरे डेबिट साइड में आएगा, पीएल अकाउंट जो मैं दूंगा, एक सिचुएशन ने। दूसरी सिचुएशन, जो फ्रेट रिकवरी मैंने की उसको नेट ऑफ कर लिया फ्रेट के साथ, तो मेरा पीएल अकाउंट में फ्रेट कम हो गया, राइट? And that is taxable at 18% rate. That is taxable at, तो यानी disclosures में we can play always magic, right? Do all magic permutation combination, maybe hiding the fact and figures. So what happened? GST auditor को क्या करना है? ना invoice वाइज उठा, चेक कर, और वो भी कितने पे चेक कर? 10,000 रुपए की सर्टिफिकेशन फीस पे। सर ये एक्सपोजर है, दिस इज एक्सपोजर कमिंग टू आवर वे। एंड मैंने जस्ट उनकी हेल्प करने के लिए पहले पॉइंट उठाया था कि परचेज ऑफ फ्रेट समटाइम एडेड नीड टू बी बाइफिकेटेड। टू माय माइंड नो, प्रोवाइडेड यू कैन ऑलवेज कोरिलेट। अब कई बार फ्रेश से जीएसटी की लायबिलिटी बन जाती है। आपने परचेज पर डेबिट कर दिया, मैं ऑडिटर हूं, मैं बोलूंगा नहीं बॉस मुझे बाइफिकेट करके दो, डिस्चार्ज हुआ है नहीं हुआ, आप उसी में खेल रहे हो मेरे से गेम। आर यू ऑल गेटिंग इट? आर यू ऑल गेटिंग इट? सो आंसर लाइज ऑन ए फंडामेंटल लॉ ऑफ करेक्ट टैक्सेस, ट्रू एंड फेयर, ट्रू एंड करेक्ट। कुछ भी कर लो आप, लेकिन ट्रू और करेक्ट टैक्सेस पेड होने चाहिए। होप क्लियर ना? सो आई एम नॉट सेइंग नो, बट टू आइडेंटिफाई, इट इज माई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू गो बैक एंड चेक। आप कुछ भी डिस्क्लोज कीजिए। एक लेते हैं रेंट एंड इंश्योरेंस। रेंट एंड इंश्योरेंस, आपको इस आइटम में कुछ लगता है, कुछ प्रॉब्लम है इसमें? मान लीजिए आपने रेंट जिसको पे किया है वो जीएसटी चार्ज करेगा या जीएसटी चार्ज नहीं करेगा? कौन चार्ज नहीं करेगा? जिसकी 20 लाख से कम है। तो क्या फायदा, क्या क्यों डाले इसको हम? ओनली टू आइडेंटिफाई। जैसे ही आपने यहां पे रेंट दिखाया 40 लाख, आईटीसी आपने कुछ दिखाई नहीं, एलिजिबल कुछ आपने दिखाई नहीं क्योंकि आपने पे नहीं किया। डिपार्टमेंट बोलेगा अरे यार 40 लाख का रेंट और जीएसटी नहीं। मेरे से पूछेगा डिपार्टमेंट, बिमल जी ये कौन है लैंडलॉर्ड, नाम दीजिए तो उसका जीएसटी नंबर दीजिए, लेट मी चेक। यानी आपने अपनी बुक्स में डिपार्टमेंट को इंटीमेट कर दिया और डिपार्टमेंट टेकिंग बैक कोर्स एंड चेकिंग आउट कौन सा लैंडलॉर्ड है जो चार्ज नहीं कर रहा। मैं बोलूंगा सर मेरे 4 वेयर हाउस है, 4 लैंडलॉर्ड से लिए है और चारों 10-10 लाख चार्ज कर रहे हैं। अच्छा ऐसा है बिमल जी, ओके ओके, आर यू गेटिंग? मैंने आपको पूरी स्टोरी को बनाया और क्लोज किया। यानी एक और आइटम लेता हूं जिससे और समझ में आया आपको। गो टू गुड्स लॉस्ट, स्टोलन, डिस्ट्रॉयड, written off, disposed of by way of gift or free sample. Am I right? आप मुझे बताइए जब आप माल परचेज करते हैं तब आप इस परसेप्शन में परचेज करते हैं कि ये लॉस्ट हो जाएगा, स्टोलन हो जाएगा, डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाएगा, रिटर्न नहीं तो मैं क्रेडिट लेता हूं, क्रेडिट लेता हूं। इट इज रिवर्सेबल ओनली फ्रॉम ए डेट व्हेन इट इज लॉस्ट। Am I right? Kerala flood case. Kerala flood case. You may compensate. You get insurance claim, that is a different issue, but need to be reversed. Now, only point comes like free sample and gift. Free sample and ले लीजिए सर, ये बिस्लरी बोतल है. I'm into this business. It is chargeable 28% and some compensation cess. अभी EG के लिए बोल देते 28% applicable. इसके साथ मान लीजिए मैं आपको एक आइटम फ्री देता हूं, फ्री वाला माल मैंने परचेज किया, जीएसटी पे किया, क्रेडिट लिया नहीं लिया? लिया। अब ये रिवर्स मारना पड़ेगा, यस और नो? रिवर्स मारना पड़ेगा, यस? हु सेड? रिवर्सल रिक्वायर्ड और नॉट? नो रिवर्सल रिक्वायर्ड, नो रिवर्सल। इट इज नॉट ए फ्री गिफ्ट. It is not a free gift. Bear in mind, it's not a free gift. It's a part of my sell. Always, whenever I'm selling something, one shirt के साथ दूसरी shirt free, I'm not doing any charity. Please forgive me. I'm for business sake. When I'm giving one shirt free, my price for the free item is included in basic pricing of this shirt. Going as a combo pack. जीएसटी क्रेडिट वुड बी अवेलेबल. नाउ एज ए ऑडिटर, एज ए वैल्यू एडिशन आप कैसे करेंगे? 2 तरह से ट्रांजेक्शन होते हैं. इस ट्रांजेक्शन को 2 तरीके से बता दो कैसे हो सकते हैं. मान लीजिए जो मैं फ्री देता हूं, पहले लिखूंगा एक शर्ट के दाम 5,000 रुपए, दूसरी शर्ट एक क्वांटिटी वैल्यू 0 फ्री 5,000 जीएसटी एप्लीकेबल, वन मोड, राइट? Another mode, I will say 5,000 rupees one shirt, 5,000 rupees another shirt, 10,000 rupees less discount. One shirt, 5,000, tax applicable on 5,000. Which model is better? Second model is better. Am I right? Second model is not hinting it is being given as free. Change your business model. Change your business model. Don't say free. So what is free? As stated by Gupta ji, I've manufactured 100 bottles. And one bottle I given free to you for your test purpose. Free sample, am I right? Free sample. It is free sample. But the case which I was discussing, it was not a free case. Now let me make free sample in the promotion, sales promotion. Can't I argue it is in the course of furtherance of business? What is free? I don't give free, sir. This I'm giving to my customer to have taste, to promote, to induce my business in the course of furtherance of. Please don't look at free quantity I'm mentioning because I've given free. Does it mean it is free? No, it is for sales promotion in the course of furtherance of business. I'm only creating big hue and cry. My only humble submission that the free term which I picked up here is very subjective term. Please ensure that you are applying correct ITC provision, and I don't give anything free. Maybe we can have that kind of option open before us to consider. I'm not considering. Fiat India judgment was a little different. Coming to this pharmaceutical which Gupta ji has said, law is such a poorly drafted. I can tell you the pharmaceutical case only. Let's say okay, let me tell you, and since this is on public domain, I can always tell you. Sanaj Hussain, they're into beauty products, right? They came up to me and they said, Mr. Jain, this beauty product going into a market, but after a certain time period, it has got validity, time period validity. It get expired. So let's say, if it get expired, how to take back those goods from my supply chain, distributor, dealer, and retailer? Just assume. So what is your suggestion? Either it can be by way of credit note, am I right? Say yes or no. But credit note comes with a time lag, time validity. That if transaction pertaining to 17-18, credit note must be issued at the earliest of due date. What is due date of September, which is 25th of October, or due date of annual return, which is 31st March, whichever is earlier. So what happened if it is returning back after this date expired? Let's say 2019, let's say 2019 July. So credit note time period gone for 17-18 transaction. So tell me, in such case, what should I do? Then no replacement. Either you can send those goods on your tax invoice. Valuation would be the issue. Which you can always take the value at the purchase cost. Am I right? So transaction gets squared up, I will take credit, and then I will reverse credit to the extent of destroyed. Transaction over, but tell me, for return of goods, credit note is the criteria. Why they have changed by way of press release? They say, yes, problem. With a time lag, credit note can't be executed. So they provided, you can always raise by way of tax invoice, right? So law is, I'm saying, so poorly drafted. It has to be read, interpreted from business perspective. Nevertheless, let me complete, then we can open house quickly. So we got certain item like here, repair and maintenance. Any implication? You might not be understanding, but I am understanding. Repair maintenance of this building. Let's say you have engaged me for repair maintenance of this building. I charge GST. Credit available to you? If capitalized, no. If it is revenue, credit is? So he will come to know. Who is he? Department. At whose cost? You are preparing all details for him. So this particular table which we are referring, table 14, is nothing but bifurcation of data for their audit sake to ensure either tax paid by supplier or paid by recipient. Reverse charge. And that is what they are looking for it. So this is all pertaining to table 14. One table I left, which was table 13. Can you go back to that table 13? Table 13 is not asking any specific, but they are looking for reason for non-reconciliation. Of what? Credit avail in GSTR 9 and credit avail in books of, or write down a reason why it is not matching. So there may be credit is available, but not coming in GSTR 9. Tell me one case. Boss, as per law, they have said credit can be availed at the earliest. To date they have given, right? September due date and annual return due date. But if I avail any credit which is beyond September due date but within due date of annual return, so that maybe I have availed credit, I want to litigate the matter of reconciliation. Because they would be unreconciled, am I right? Ha, na. So, malung, na. Somebody said na. So, credit is available. Credit is, if I take my legal interpretation by 31st March 2019, but from GSTR 9 perspective, credit is, so matter of non-reconciliation, region. So, maybe that region need to be sorted out here. Coming to table 16, tax payable on unreconciled differences in ITC. So maybe being auditor is responsibility of mine to ensure that tax is supposed to be reversed, but you have availed the credit, which is called wrong credit. Need to be paid, am I right? Along with interest or penalty. I'm creating a situation, you have wrongly availed, listen, you have wrongly availed but not utilized. Interest is applicable. Interest is applicable, yes or no? Yes. My instruction? Interest is applicable. Yes. This is a big debated point in GST. In pre-GST era, we have seen, if I have availed credit, but not utilized, no interest, no penalty. Only reversal would be required. But GST, it is giving some kind of flavor and looks like one school thought that if you wrongly avail, you have to pay interest with a penalty applicable. 73 and 74. Again, kindly go back. 73, even non-fraud cases, penalty is 10% of tax amount. And 74, 100% of tax amount. But to my information, I will not be willing to pay any interest on wrongly availed credit, but not utilized. I'm taking another clue. One, I don't know whether he has gone or sitting inside. He said, I got, 10 crore rupees in my e-cash ledger, 10 crore rupees in my e-credit ledger. I have to discharge 30 crore rupees. I should be demanded interest for non-payment, and I can't make payment because I got only 20 crore totaling together. I can pay 30 crore, but I'm short of 10 crore. Can you demand interest on full 30 crore, or it should be only to the extent of 10 crore? From a taxpayer-friendly measure, if I'm maintaining balance of 20 crore, which I am not in position to adjust, because I have to adjust full. For that it is lacking. Either you allow me part payment, I'm not stopping myself. Please, those who are saying on 30 crore, allow me a window to pay 20 crore, which I'm willing to. I want to stop my interest meter. You're not giving me window and demanding interest on 30 crore. Are you listening? So this is all irony of GST law. All irony. Why should I pay on 30 crore when I'm willing to pay? But these are all representation. E-cash ledger in the morning, 5 crore rupees. I have wrongly paid, but why there would be bucket, major and minor, to pay off my cash amount? This would be one account where from I can make the payment. Come to the last, part 5, GSTR 9C. Auditor's recommendation on additional liability due to non-reconciliation. So let me become auditor for you, and you become all my SSE company. There may be a possibility that I will say tax liability exists. Tax liability, and you will say tax liability not exists. What you will do? Can't you foresee this kind of situation? On a lighter note, there would be that if I'm a person, I've taken your assignment at a reasonable cost. As an auditor, I carry a responsibility of my taxpayer should be benefited. My taxpayer should be benefited. I'm not here to charge fees at the cost of my taxpayer. Wherever you see that logically liability exists, or wherever you see credit is not available, You convince your client first that this is what my interpretation. So this is all from my side.